Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Canned Air, your tribute to pop culture. I am Jeremy Colley.
And I'm Jack Doherty.
And joining us today is a guest who's been with us before. It's been a long time, though, which we're going to touch on here in a second. But you've seen our guest in movies like Inception, shows like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. You've heard him in American Dad, Starfield. You've seen him in Never Have I Ever, Sanctuary, Artificial. These are just to name a few. The IMDb just keeps going on. But he's probably best known for portraying the Shredder in the 2014 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film. We welcome back award-winning actor Tohoru Masamune. Tohoru, man, thank you for being back.
Hey, man, thanks for having me back. It's been a minute, and I always feel like, I guess we're on the air, but I kind of feel like, hey, I want to hang out with these guys again, so yeah. I guess that's the format, right?
I'm so glad. When I got that message from you, I was so freaking excited. I hope any of the advice I gave you was actually helpful, not just me droning on.
Yeah, who knows how any of this works anymore, so it's all good. Any ideas are good, because, we all just throw spaghetti against the wall anyway, and I think it's changing. I kind of feel like it's some bizarre, chaotic system that keeps moving on us, and
that's the truth,
right? And I've been really glued to the NHL playoffs, and I remember one of the things that I thought makes hockey such a great game. It doesn't matter how good you are, well, assuming you're somewhat evenly matched, it's like getting that goal. Everything's got to line up, and I was just saying the great thing about it, and this is only when both teams are good. They're never pretty. You just grind it out, and you do the right things, and just the heavens open up for that second. Hopefully 2 or 3 times a game, light flashes. So anyway, that's
makes you feel awesome,
right?
It's not like soccer where the goal is huge and you're just a little guy. You're a huge guy in front of this little goal, and you got to get that.
Yeah. So it's anyway. So yeah. I just everything was great. So thanks. I always appreciate new ideas. Right.
Well, hey, man, and you had mentioned it's been a minute since you've been here. It's been longer than a minute. It was 2016, guys. Close to a decade, almost 8 years, right? Wow. Is that what that is?
Really?
Wow. All the things that have happened in that time. And, I have to thank you, number one, for humoring us, for coming on the show, especially then. I mean, it's a little more polished now, but then, man, we were just floating along with sticks and rubber bands to make this thing work. You know what I mean? And I went back and listened to that episode, and I kept thinking, something sounds odd. And I was going back through notes, and then it dawned on me.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
After we recorded that episode with you, in editing, somewhere halfway through, I lost all of our audio. Your audio was perfect. All of ours disappeared. So we had to get everyone back together and react the episode and be genuine.
Did you ADR the episode?
Yeah.
And I hope you changed the questions to just make me sound really weird.
No, it actually
this guy's
out.
Crazy. Why is he answering totally opposite of what the questions are?
Well, exactly. Yeah. But, they always say that's a good interviewing technique, that you don't have to enter the interviews or hopefully you do. But at the end of the day, you have to always answer the question they should have asked.
Yeah. I've got a lot of hindsight's 2020 moments in editing where I'm like, why didn't I ask that, or why didn't I do that? You know what I mean?
Oh, you mean both, yeah, or why? Why didn't I say that? Or yeah, it's weird, but I think that's a good thing to walk away from anything. You gotta want more and all that sort of stuff, and you never know what actually you got on tape. For anything performing, but like that's a thing. And what I've learned to do is just keep my fucking
yes,
mouth, fucking mouth shut, because there's stuff, and you hear about like bands all the time, man. They just throw temper tantrums. That's terrible, blah blah blah. Some recording they did, they're throwing shit around and going, and then they listen to it. It's actually these tracks, some pretty good actually, and I really feel that with takes is like, you hope you're in good hands, and it's really weird. You don't know what you're actually getting on tape, and that's one of the cool things, I guess, about what we do is and I kind of think maybe some of the best stuff is that we don't even know we're doing.
Yeah. Well, you're absolutely right, because I can't tell you how many times, a recording ended and I was just like, that was dog shit. Like, what was I thinking? Why did I say this or that? And then in editing, I'm like, why was I beating myself up? This isn't bad at all. And sometimes the complete opposite happens, but you're absolutely right.
It's like, it was dog shit. Yeah, I was right. Yeah. But and there is stuff, as I was saying, I've always thought, the best stuff's all an accident anyway, right? I mean,
yeah.
At the end of the day, so
Truly.
it's so it's all good. It's all good. But that was fun though. And I started realizing too, is I remember, 'cause you guys in the Midwest somewhere, right?
Yeah, we're in Columbus, Ohio.
That's right, Ohio. Yeah, and I told you I was born in Wisconsin and
yes,
Midwestern at heart, right?
Yeah,
and well, this would be a good segue into my Iowa golf story later.
Yeah, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Yeah. But anyway, I was just going to say that I was thinking about, oh, that's right, man. It'll be so great to see those guys again. And I remember last time we started, it must have been like in the midst of winter. And
it was like 2 days before Thanksgiving is what it was,
yeah.
2016.
And like always, I mean, right, I just came back in the day. It was like gorgeous and sunny. I hope it's gorgeous, sunny there. And but at the time, I think it was just Ohio weather.
Yeah.
And I was just telling about what it was like here that day. And then you guys, here's like, we were starting to hate you. And I'm thinking, maybe that might be a good tradition, is I'll just make you feel bad. Talk about how beautiful it was. I just got in, man. Oh, I just got in from the beach, man. It was awesome.
Yeah. Well, we're looking down the barrel of summer right now. So it's not bright and sunny today, but it's Ohio. It could be way, way worse. It's acceptable now, but
it's
funny.
Cold outside right now.
It's chilly
cold, really.
outside. It's chilly. I wouldn't say cold. I'd say it's in the 60s.
Yeah,
that's right. Nate. Well, okay, yeah. I was playing Chicago, and I remember someone had it was well into May, almost June. I mean, it was crazy. And then someone had a beach party, and we went out to the lake, and everybody was in huge jackets, and like every so often someone would throw out a football, but then it'd be tossed around. And all that. I'm just like, guys, I hate to say this is not a beach party. Let's just go inside. And so I remember that. But and then June it flipped and it was gorgeous a little while. Remember that.
Mm-hmm. So for about 3 months, it's awesome, and then it goes right back. But I'm sorry, I keep interrupting your.
Oh yeah. Well, I'll jump to the Iowa story since we started with that, because I think we were joking about. The swearing thing. We're saying, the authorities haven't come after you and blah blah blah.
Right.
Anyway, and especially because you guys are Midwesterners, I do this golf tournament in every August, and have been for years. It's an amazing group of people in Iowa. It's the Jenny Edmondson Cancer Foundation.
Nice.
It's an amazing golf tournament. It's this whole thing where they just raise money, and it's one of those things where. It's not, and I'm all for supporting research. I'm from a scientist fan, blah, blah, blah. But it's more like one of these things where, you actually meet these people that are recipients. And, people, had all, kids and whatever, and whatever that have had cancer forever, and they're getting through the whole thing. But it's almost like, not, we're going to cure this, blah, 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 is more like, Mabel, needs a ride to get to her chemo, every Wednesday. So we're going to pay for her Uber, and that kind of thing. And it's amazing. And then it's that stuff that, and then you meet them. Yeah. So it's an amazing thing. And there's golf, there's great dinner anyway, but that's, but anyway, that's just something and they're just like family now. So I love it. And being flown out for a free round of golf, that's how I like charity. I'm not so much a soup line guy. I mean, I'm all for that. That's sort of how I like to do charity. I think it's
Yeah. Well, why not? Having fun, and like you said, it's going to making people who are going through something they never expected to go through, who are taking on this horrible thing they have to deal with now, making their life a little bit easier. I mean, come on, that goes a long way.
Easier. Yeah. Easier is a great way to put it, and that's. I kind of feel like that's something I can offer, is like, if I can just make it easier, I can't, clearly I'm not going to find a cure for cancer. Clearly, I stepped off of that path. But yeah, but that's something I feel like, if I can help someone make life easier. But anyway, going back, right? We're going back and talking about authorities. Yeah, because you're saying, I think you say though, we haven't got any letters yet. I think you said that, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, so I'm going back and I'm in a great mood, because I know, all the other actors and athletes. And by the way, that's the one place where I get starstruck. I meet actors, whatever. But man, one guy there was this is in Boston. I'm a Red Sox fan, and my dad was too, big time Red Sox fan. And I don't know if you guys follow baseball, but you're from Ohio. Of course you must, right? Yeah.
We hear about it a lot, but sports.
Oh, you hear about it, yeah. Or you're surrounded by people who do, yeah.
Right.
Anyway, his Bloody Sock game is an amazing series, real legendary. In that game, it was just amazing. I won't go into bore with you the details of it. It was amazing. So the pitcher for the Yankees is he's local there, and he's there, and he's just like this regular dude. And whatever I've met every actor or whatever on the planet, and whatever, and even the science side, I met Nobel Prize, all that sort of stuff, right? And it's so funny. I kind of like I feel like when I'm talking, I'm talking to him, I'm just sort of feeling like I'm this kid, and it's weird. I hope it doesn't show, but it's like I kind of go, ooh, that's really neat. And there's one point at the end of the tournament, he goes, yeah, we're just, afterwards we're just gonna go over the bar, we're just gonna do some cigars and brandy, if you want to come join, that's great. I'm going, yeah, of course, man. Yeah, that sounds cool. I'm like, are you kidding? Yeah. It was like eating. I get to eat at the jocks table for lunch. It was so funny. But anyway,
being like, oh, well, let me see if I can fit it into my evening. But,
yeah.
Yeah. And so anyway, but so it's a great thing. But we're all going. So a great weekend. So I'm going back, and I'm just feeling like $1 million. And so we're going through, check in. Everything's going great. Going through TSA, and then I've been never stopped for. I thought, those little you can buy them. They're the smallest Swiss Army knife you can get. It's like which used to be, they actually made them legal for a little bit on flights, because basically I used to open packages from Amazon. That's what I use.
Sure, and it has it just has everything a Swiss Army knife stuff just does.
Yeah,
just
it's
really
a small
tiny
blade that is unusable, but it has those scissors.
Yes,
and it's great for opening packages at Amazon. And so that's why I have it. And it was a keepsake. Actually, my mom gave it to me. This was a memory, so it was cool. And so I go there, and they find this thing, right? And I've been flying with this thing for years. And they're going, oh, can't take this on. I'm going, oh, really? And I'm going, okay, can I have that shipped to me or something, or whatever, and I'll pay for it. I'm thinking, shit, if it cost me $50, that was whatever. But it's the whole thing, and they were being, and I don't know why. I'm part of their training, why they don't even have to be nice, but just basic manners, like please and thank you. Those are simple words that make a huge difference, and all that. But anyway, little things, but it's kind of going back and forth. And I said, all right, well, and I'm trying going, okay, well, you can go back and, check it in United, blah, blah, blah. So I go, all right, whatever. I put my shoes back on, my belt back on. I go all the way back. Really early, so that's fine. So I go and check it. They're no help. They don't care.
Yeah.
I'm going, and fine. All right. I don't know why. I know it's a thing and all that. But anyway, I'm going back, and I kind of going back and forth, and then I have to go. So I go through again. I can't remember. They keep sending me back and forth. They think there's like the third, fourth round. No one's let me through, and I'm having to get ready, and then they stop me, and it's the usual sort of like and I'm starting to get a little annoyed, anyway, so I'm, and even when I was at United, I'm just starting to raise my voice a little, because he's not hearing me. I'm saying, you know what? I know there's a solution. It's real simple, and I'm willing to pay for it. I know there is, and I want to hold on to this. I don't want
to keep saying
one of your kids to play with it or own it or whatever, Anyway. And then finally, he goes, sir, you're going to have to lower your voice, or I'm going to call the police. And I'm going, holy crap. Did the United customer service threaten to call the police on me? And then this whole thing, blah, blah. Anyway, going back and forth. what was it? And all of a sudden, I'm running out of time. I said, all right, fuck it.
Yeah.
Whatever. I mean, it's just sentimental, and I can just get on whatever. But because I had to run back, I said, you know what? I just got to go. So I grab it. I don't even remember what I do. So they took it off the ring. I put it back on. So I'm carrying it, blah, blah, blah. I'm running back. I'm going, I can't even find it anymore. I'm going, I don't know, maybe I dropped it or something. So I just put my camera bag through, and it gets through. I'm at the other end. I says, okay. And I'm thinking, geez, okay, that's cool. And I get to the gate, and I'm saying, all right, well, whatever. And I'm thinking, yeah, maybe I still have a little knife on me too, which is kind of cool. I'm thinking, all right, maybe that's kind of cool, but you never know. And this airport cop, sure enough, comes up and that guy called the cops on me.
What?
And so I'm getting approached, and this whole thing where I'm getting pulled back, I'm people are starting to line up and get on the gate, and I'm just starting to get, and I'm not even putting up with this guy anymore, because I'm kind of going, he's classic airport cop or whatever, and I get that. Well, they don't have. It was Iowa. It was Omaha. It was that airport there, and it was a slow morning. It's like, so they had nothing else to do, and they caught a live one, right?
Right.
And and I'm going, and then he's pulling me back. He says, well, I'll have to phone in, check. And I'm going, and I'm trying to explain to him what happened, the whole thing, and he's not listening to me. He's kind of saying, this is what happened, and he's doing that whole thing. And I've I work with a lot of because I told you I studied engineering, blah blah. So I still work with the kids, as far as like math and stuff like that. So something I enjoy doing, and that's a whole other part of my life, and which I love. And but I'm kind of sometimes used to how this someone's not listening. I wait till they settle down, and I say, stop. All right. Are you listening to me? Like before I even start talking. And I have to hear it. I'm going to use it. So I do this to this cop in front of the TSA. You're not listening. Because stop right there. Okay. I'm about to speak. Are you listening? Because he kept saying, I am. No. You're
he's frustrated.
Anyway, so he's getting, that was probably the wrong thing. I just wanted to see if maybe, at that point, it was on, right? Sure. It's going back and forth, and even the TSI, because I'm not, this whole thing, and this is between me and this airport cop, and he's calling me in, and finally I'm going, well, blah, and he goes, well, it's just a little. He goes, you could kill someone with this. I could, and I'd be better off with the keys, right?
Really.
I think that's a more dangerous weapon. Because the blade would break, but the keys, man, at least I will make someday do some right. Maybe I could pull out the scissors and,
slowly snip them to death.
So anyway, he finally calls in and he kind of goes, okay, you're free to go. I goes, oh, surprise, and I go hop on the plane. Jeez, and I get a letter a few weeks later from the Homeland Security.
What?
Explaining the ongoing investigation on me. It's so insane.
Oh my!
What the hell does that even mean?
Yeah,
what are they investigating?
Yeah, and then I wrote a whole letter, and I ended with like, this is a what did I say? Something like, this is a something egregious, whatever, something waste of the taxpayers' money, and all this sort of stuff. And I said, I'm not perfect or whatever. I don't know how I got, and I had to get the leader, the president of the foundation to write a letter on my behalf, but while I was there, he says, I'm about as little of a threat to national security as you could possibly run into, and all this. Anyway, it went back and forth, and, that was his flexing his muscles, his last thing as well, I'll show him. And, when it was a hassle, and I had to get my lawyer friend to, help me out, and it's this whole thing. But I got a letter from Homeland Security explaining, and they were saying like up to $25,000 or, 20 years in prison, all this. And my lawyer friend said, no, they're not going to do that. They're just this whole thing. And
yeah.
But anyway, so
they told you to go, like, that seems ridiculous. An ongoing investigation. What's there to investigate other than just to Google your name? I mean, like, does he have a history?
Stakeout going on next door.
And they're going, well, he is Shredder. Maybe we should. No, I don't know.
Maybe he knew the whole time. It was like, we gotta take him down.
I took Shredder down. Yeah. Yeah. So anyways, that was that. But anyway, I went back. But one thing that I got out of it is telling the story. And I got to say, I got a little street cred, amongst the crew back there now. A little bit of street cred,
You ought to frame that letter.
I was just going to say that. I probably would have framed it.
Yeah.
It's pretty hilarious. I mean, it was a hassle, but yeah, so there you go, but.
Damn.
There you go.
You handled it way better than I would have. I would have been taken to their airport jail probably.
Oh, I can only imagine. I can totally see it too. Just all of a sudden, getting off.
I'm always. I could have gone there, but I just thought, you know what? Let me just get on that plane, and that was sort of my priority. But it was pretty maddening. I mean, I was pretty upset, and I just feel like by the time I'm that upset, someone's really crossed the line,
Right. You're a calm guy. You're a really calm guy.
Yeah. And so anyway, but I guess he's thinking he's got the last laugh, but here we are talking about him. I wish I remembered his name, his badge number.
Put him on blast.
I don't remember his name. I'll tell you.
How long ago was that?
2 years ago, maybe. 2 years
Wow.
ago. They just started redoing it. And, there's that pandemic thing, and then they stopped the tournament for a while, and then it was like the first one, I think, after it. So that'd be what, 21. I can't even remember. When did that thing end? Pandemic.
I think it was finally done in 22. I think.
It's probably 22 then. That summer, I think. Yeah,
Wow.
And they canceled the poker tournament that was afterwards. So
please frame that letter. I mean, you have to.
I will. It's kind of badass. I kind of feel like, and it was weird. In retrospect, I'm thinking, that's
totally worthy of the shredder.
You should call them up and be like, "Hey, I'm just checking in on the status of the ongoing investigation."
Is it still going? Is it?
Just poke that bear a little bit more.
You guys haven't stopped yet, right? I mean, I haven't heard back from you guys yet.
Yeah, but there would be some board person, like you said the first guy was, who'd be like, "Well, I'm going to look into it," and then reopen some bullshit thing.
It's
just
old
because
cold case from
Old case.
An airport detective shows up.
My door. Or on set.
I'm gonna make lieutenant one day.
My hand's gonna
do it.
He's like wearing the long coat and the fedora, like looking the look.
I could launch my career. Anyway, that was my.
Oh man, I'm glad you told us that, but that's insane. I mean, I understand jobs like the airport or the post office or the BMV. People put up with people's bullshit all day, and you get worn down to a nub. But this is insane. You are presenting a solution, and they just don't want to hear it.
Yeah, and I think that was maybe. I mean, I don't want to say bad on me because when I started treating him like a middle schooler, that probably wasn't appreciated. But he was
acting like it.
Yeah. And so I said, and I'm saying I just need, so I had to, and I guess I could have maybe not done it in front of like all of TSA, but there are other ways I could have handled it a little better, but I decided to choose to do it this way. And but anyway,
part of me wishes I could have seen it, but
yeah, it was crazy.
Anyway, I'm glad you told that though. That's insane.
So how you guys been? How you guys been?
Good, man. Just trying to think what's happened other than COVID since we last talked. I mean, just growing the show the best we can. I think Jack and I are doing different jobs now than we were then, right, Jack?
Yeah, I guess it's basically the same, but it's a little bit different. Different part
same
of the job,
work, different place. But
yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and I'm totally digging the whole vibe is so cool. You got the, those podcasters, Mike. You got some cool shit in the background. I love it.
I appreciate that, man. It's funny. I was thinking about taking this comic rack out because I was like, man, it looks too busy. And, if we get someone on who may not be into comics, they're going to be like, oh, Christ, we're talking to comic nerds today. But Kevin Eastman was on, and I had only put it up. I had only put it up like 2 weeks before he was on, and he was like, dude, I love that. You got to keep that. don't get rid of it. So, and now you, Kevin Eastman, and the Shredder. I mean, what?
No,
shit.
well, no,
Wow, shoot, yeah,
no. I think that, well, kind of creates an environment, and you kind of feel like, okay, now we're into it. And I always think about that too. Is like, because I've been doing all sorts of things, a bunch of things, and I started realizing that, I've been doing a bunch of, whatever. I think maybe not 2016. No shit. Okay, so a couple of crazy things happened, because that was before Artificial, the show Artificial, right?
I'm so glad you brought that up. That's what I was wanting to ask you about quite a bit. Go right ahead.
Yeah. So, and that happened since that was a really cool show. It was by my I wouldn't say a friend. I was new of him. He's already had won 2 Emmys. He's just one of these brilliant sort of media people. And I met him on a driveway at an outdoor picnic, and I didn't realize he had won 2 Emmys. So he's like really happy. He said, "That guy's a little full of himself." I realized later. Oh, okay. All right.
That's why he's allowed to be full of himself.
Yeah. So no. He's actually a great guy. I shouldn't say that. He just, and he was just very enthusiastic. But he's just anyway. But he hired me for a few things, and we had this thing. And he does interactive stuff. That's his gig. Is like new media is like his whole thing, and he's always pushing the boundaries of what it can do, and that's his interest. And so I wasn't quite sure, and he's kind of bring me, he handed me this. If you could read for this, that'd be great. And I'm playing Dr. Matlin, and I'm AI scientist.
Yes.
Who designs an AGI or
like an artificial human
robot. Yeah. Artificial human. And it sort of gets revealed later that it's, and this is the backstory. It's great. The writing, especially that first few seasons, were just amazing. They kind of got into this crazy zone later, but the first thing was just plain old great writing. And he, part of it was I had this daughter, and it was a young woman. So it's sort of that weird thing of like, Japanese guy builds a nice, young, teenage robot. All right, where's this show going to be about? And
my mind never went there. Honestly, it never did.
Yeah, no. But what I never even thought of it either. By that, I guess that you don't know before you really know what's going on. But it turns out that 8 years prior, or something like that, in the story, that this is in the story, so no, this is not my life, that my actual daughter was killed in a school shooting. So it's kind of based loosely on the Sandy Hook, blah blah blah. And so since then my life, whatever, as you can imagine, as disruptive as these things are, and the idea is that I turn it on. It was on Twitch, right?
Right.
And which is crazy, right? I mean, their first narrative program ever, and they're kind of exploring that space, right? And I'm thinking, Twitch, isn't that like a game or something? Whatever.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, and he said, no. And he made it. It was the main guy. He's very good friends with the main guy there, and one of the founders. And he's saying, no, let's try it. I think we could do a cool narrative on this. And we tried it. So the idea was that I come on, and we start and say, "Oh, is this working?" But when we're going, so I have this live stream, and the idea is that I've sort of built this, this AI, this human AI, and I realize at some point the socialization of it is, you can't, like, in order to become human, you need that social interaction. I mean, that's part of it. That's because the AI, where there's a training process, so you're learning, but you can't, if you're just learning, because I'm feeding stuff into her. I mean, that's, and I'm sort of a scholar and, whatever. So she knows an expert on Kant and, Heidegger and, all this sort of stuff.
Right.
Great chess professors. But saying, you know what? But she needs to be interacting with her peers. That's part of any human. So I was thinking, I heard about this thing, Twitch. So why don't I go on and maybe I'm too scared to put her out in the real world, but maybe I can have her interacting with her peers on Twitch and we'll start that. And so I go, and that was the idea, is that's as a scientist, I'm going, okay. And we're going, and that's the idea, is like, that's what I want to do. And every show had a different theme, like ethics or blah, blah, blah. Brilliant writing. And she was saying, I'm Sophie, and you can help me become human in this whole thing. Tiffany, she's a brilliant actress. I mean, she was joking that when she was starting acting class, she was accused of being robotic, and she's like, she had it down.
I've got the role for you.
yeah. No, the role made for her, and she's outside of that, she's also brilliant. She's she's an amazing actress. So anyway, we're going back and forth, and it's kind of great, and the whole thing unfolds, and each show had a great theme and is also interactive. So the audience, they're always saying, well, when we had to make a decision. And we there was an argument to maybe never tip our hands, because people were wondering, is this real or not? And that was, and people were saying, there would always be things, and we come to a thing, and where there'd be come to a crossroads, and I said, well, I don't know if we should do that. I don't know if we should allow you to go outside. I don't know. I said, well, I said, well, why don't we leave it to the audience, and they'd vote on it. And then if we did, then we'd have to learn 3 scripts every day. I mean, it's crazy. And we'd be on there for like 3. These Twitch viewers are nuts, man. We'd be on for like hours. I mean, it's crazy. Like, wow. We'd be on 3. Are they still there? Like 30,000 people. Are they? It's been 2 hours. Are they still there? And goes, oh yeah. They're not going anywhere. And it got more and more involved. And he would throw something else in. I'll tell you about some of the technology he started using. Anyway. It was fantastic, and long story short, the Bernie Sue magic, man. We win a frickin' Emmy.
I know. Congrats, man.
Yeah, and that was amazing. That was kind of amazing, and Peabody too, which is interesting.
And a Webby, right? And a Webby too, a Webby award.
Webby, yeah. I got my Webby. I'll show it to you guys later. I'm so proud of it.
You should be.
There's I think a thing remember that Leo DiCaprio movie, the Don't Look Up?
Yes.
And then the Meryl Streep was playing the president, I believe, right?
Yes.
And there's
that was.
Yeah, and there's a scene where you look, and she's sort of the media president. And you look, and I see in the background, man, that's a Webby on her desk, It's a little spiral thing.
Was there really? I have to watch it again.
Story later, because that's the joke, is that she won a Webby for her, like her podcast or her YouTube or something like that, right? Wow. So that's her. That was the story. So I was very, very proud to have that. And anyway. So that was great. And being at the party is, how they all say, oh, you don't do it for the award, blah blah. Man, that was the governor's ball, and that was the best party ever. Like, it's sort of like endless, everything. The band, I don't know who they were. I might have been someone famous, and I'm just so out of it that I didn't know. But they were so good. It's like I was at a concert, but they were the party band, and it was just, production values were like you're at a concert, and the food was endless. It was just like, and I remember being there, and I remember I was thinking, that you don't do it for awards, but man, I don't know, man. It's kind of worth it. I mean, even if that was the only thing I got out of this whole career was that weekend. It was pretty special. And I remember when I went there, and I said, oh, let me shop for your tux. I don't know how much I dropped, like 3.5, not quite. I stopped before it's going to hit $4,000 on my tux, and it was crazy. It wasn't, but that's, whatever. I mean, often you win the Emmys, and now I have to win an Oscar in order to spread out the cost.
Sure.
So that's kind of the idea. I might have to throw a Golden Globe in there to really make it worth it. I remember going up
Tony Award while you're at it. Why not?
Yeah. Why not? That'd be good. Then I'm up. I feel like I've got a good value.
What do they call those EGOT winners? You'd have to throw a Grammy in there too.
I got to get a Grammy. I did also sing and play guitar on Never Have I Ever.
was going to ask you about singing and playing guitar because I saw you do a post with a friend of yours where you guys were playing some music, and I was like, holy shit, I didn't know he played guitar and sang and stuff.
I don't. I mean, I joked when I got hired for, when I got hired for the show, and I do it for fun. I mean, I played like any good Asian kid. I played, 10 years of classical music, the last 6 of which I hated. I showed a lot of talent at the beginning because it was musical.
Right.
I had fun on the playing, and they love that, right? When you see a kid that's having fun playing.
Of course.
And practicing scales, not cool, I mean, when you're like 16, 17, not cool, and so anyway, they finally let me quit. But, because of that, I have musical ability. And I remember I get this gig. And actually, you notice my hair is a lot longer since we met.
Sure.
And that was another thing, because during COVID, I just let it grow out, and my hair goes super fast. And I'm thinking, I'm looking, we all lost our minds during COVID too. And I'm do a self-tape, and I'm in a suit, because I'm usually doing a lot of suity roles. And I look, and I said, wow, this is kind of cool. The long hair and this pinstripe suit.
Yeah.
And I email my management, and they go like, I don't know, dude, you want to just go with this? This is kind of cool. I think it'll really make me stand out, and then he writes back, and, he's saying, no, I agree. It'll make you stand. I'm just not so sure it's a good thing in this case. And they're basically listening because they're thinking, oh, we're going to, they're thinking, okay, you're going to be like Judge Nakamura on this procedural for 10 years, and we're going to make, millions of dollars or whatever. They're sort of thinking, because I could definitely play those, I got that, whatever. Blah, blah. So anyway, he's saying, whatever, and he says, but, if you feel strongly about it, just give me a call if you think it warrants a phone call. And then it's a big management company. So finally, managers I've never heard from before start chiming in. I echo Tom's response. Anyway, so I'm going, and then I'm thinking, I said, yeah, maybe that's why you hire managers, to talk some sense into you, right?
Right.
And I'm thinking, what,
Right.
my whole thing in this whole career, the whole reason for doing this whole career to begin with is I just want to have fun, man. I mean, if you stop having fun, then and not just doing then I don't know. I just if I just wanted to lead this double life, there's so many other careers I would have been far more stable, and all this sort of stuff. But anyway, that being said, I'm thinking, all right, nice, raise a haircut, and then I get this call. It's Mindy Kaling's show. They're saying we're looking for a Japanese American Christian hippie dad. And then it starts out where where we sit down at the table, and we, rather than doing a prayer, we sing these little Christian tunes. I can't remember what it is, but apparently it's pretty classic,
Right.
I'll remember. Maybe I'll remember. But and I used to, my ex-girlfriend, I was living for back in the day, I would play the guitar and strum and sing. But even she wouldn't listen to me. Like, she'd go to the other room. The only our half Basset, half Beagle would come out from her sleeping place and sit next to me and listen. I said she was my only fan. So anyway, so I had that, but I'm not good. I did it at a theater festival. I tried, and man, I got handed to professional musicians. It's maybe I just have to get used to it, but it's not easy.
No, it's not.
Mhm.
It's especially sing and play at the same time. That's what I tried, and I kind of had a bit of a meltdown on stage once because I was like, man, this is not like sitting at home in the bedroom. It's I was playing faster and faster and faster, like all this, everything, and all these
That's
things.
so crazy you say that. I did that when we were playing music in front of people, and also with this podcast. When I get nervous, I talk or play 1,000,000 miles a minute. I go so fast. It's a crazy thing, isn't it?
Mhm.
Yeah, and I guess that makes sense. Maybe we just want to get it over with. I don't know, but
Just racing to the end.
stop playing. So anyway, I go, and anyway, long story short, I had a little bit, but when and the best, most gorgeous screen wife I've ever had. So I was kind of flattered by that. She was a soap star, so we meet on Zoom because we had to practice, and she's sung on Broadway and stuff like that. Kelly Sullivan's her name, she's a soap star, so she's beautiful. Anyway, so she's coming on, and she's sung on Broadway, and we get on Zoom. The producer says, okay, you guys need to practice. This is all during COVID, so we're going to get on. We're not going to really have time to practice. Blah, blah, blah. And I get on. I said, well, you know, the two things we have going against us is I can neither sing nor play guitar. But she was good enough that she knew how to like support me, and I had enough. And pretty harrowing, but I did it. So I and we got through it, and shot right in the, whenever it was during. Well, it was obviously not quite during in the middle of COVID, but it was all like testing, like
right.
it was everything like, yeah. And I'm so psychosomatic that, man, it was harrowing just showing up for work because, man, can I even work? And also, even if you don't, I don't know, the production shuts. I don't know, like you're causing so much trouble by testing positive. So anyway, I got through it, and we had that, and because of that, they said, oh, and all of a sudden, I was in 3 seasons, and finally, all of a sudden the emails were like, you haven't cut your hair yet, have you? So anyway.
See, you knew ahead of time, like this is going to it's going to set me apart, and it did.
Yeah, and it did, and got me the job, and all that. And it was an amazing job. But anyway, this is what it was, and I'll finish up the artificial story later because it is a cool one. But anyway, so I had that, right? So I get this Emmy, and then I get this job. So now all of a sudden I'm playing this really sensitive Christian hippie dad, and it was a great role. The family I had, I wish I had a real family. Like it was awesome, But at least I could say goodbye at the end of the day and say, all right, I'll see you guys later,
Yeah.
And I'm going and I'm saying, and this is really, and some. I didn't have huge roles, but the lines were good. And sometimes I looked like there's a little thing at the end where I just, I had very funny lines because they're very uncharacteristic of the Japanese. It was. I realized later everything I said was so against stereotype. And one of the things there is I always joke, and I always joke that I'm the first Asian dad in, American cinematic history to utter the words, if you don't want to go to college, that's totally okay. and I realized later that, wow, I did in the context, it made in the context of the thing, but I remember, running to fans and stuff like that. And they're saying, yeah, no, and they had discussions about that. And they said, yeah, but my mom said it's going to be college. And sometimes if I'm signing something, I'll write at the bottom, by the way, go to college, so anyway, so it was great. But there's a thing at the very end. There's another weird thing. I know it's a cultural thing, and now I understand how love is expressed in an Asian culture, at least Japanese culture, and certainly in our family. And and one of the things is you're really very, very careful about saying you're proud of your kid. Like you tell other people, but to say to your kid, "I'm proud of you," because then. It's some weird cultural thing. It could be a language thing too, where it's not. It makes sense within the context of Japanese language.
Right.
You wouldn't say that, and things are understood, and it's kind of weird to grow up in an American environment saying, "I don't know, man. I see the other kids getting that, they're getting that love, whatever." But that's not there. That's sort of like that's not necessarily that. That's not how love is expressed. It's like, let me get you into a position to succeed.
Right.
Meaning, that's really the thing. Is like, I want to put you in a position to succeed by the time, I want to put you out in the world and you can, and all that. So that's part of it. Anyway, but that's one of the things I say it is. And I just say there's a little moment, and I got to hand it to these ADR people. They're brilliant. It is the whole show. Everybody was so good, but just getting this little ADR to bring me in. And I just give a hug. And I said, man, I'm so proud of you. And I realize even that is sort of like, that's an intentional line,
right?
That they wrote in there. And I go back and he goes, yeah, no, we need you to punch in this part. And I didn't even remember saying it, but I can look back at him. It was really great too, but it just felt real. And he's, Darren Barnett, he's killing it. And I'm proud of him. I'm really proud of him. Not that he needs my not that he needs my emotional support, but when I see him, it's like, man, good for you, man. And he's an amazing, tremendous respect for elders and all that sort of stuff. He's going to go far because he knows how to deal with people, and smart guy, and
right.
Super talented. But anyway, so there's where I kind of blown away. So this is my chance to just say, I'm really proud of you. And I kind of pulled back and I just say, no, that part, you see your mouth moving? He goes, you say, yeah. And goes, oh, okay. Okay. So and they kind of talked me through it. We finally went through yeah. And that kind of, yeah. Or so I can't remember how it was. I can't even recreate it now, but and I looked at the booth and I go, that sounded like a father to son. Yeah. And then it goes, yeah. He said, well, we know what we're doing. And I goes, yeah, you do. And then finally watched that. And I watched all that. It's a little moment. That was the only line I had in the movie. Like the wife was saying, oh my God, your dad's been crying since you hit the stage. Blah, blah.
Wow.
And I had that little say, I'm so proud of you. And I just put back, yeah. It's very it was a good movie. And actually it's an important plot point because it launches the girl to start thinking about her mom. When he sees that moment of like the father and son goes, and then she thinks, and she goes right back to her mom's, this is the whole thing. But anyway, that was the thing that launches it. So if it's not convincing, then all of a sudden, well, it's kind of forced, but it was good. It's amazing. And they say, oh, don't worry. When we get this down, we're going to have other voices come in, and they totally made that moment work. And I guess Mindy came in and they said, if you notice the show, it's a cat comedy, super funny. And we gave it a lot of, did you notice it slowed down? I said, yeah, I just did. And there's that little thing, but enough to, all that. And I was really, and I thought,
that's awesome, man.
That's what I came in town to do. It's like but that's why I did this. That's,
yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. And so anyway, so sorry about that.
You're fine.
Probably should try. What was I saying? So anyway, so I'm thinking, and I remember thinking to myself, yeah, this is how it happens. The road to the Oscars, man. You get a killer job as an iconic supervillain, then you get that Emmy.
Yeah.
And you get these scenes. I said, I'm on the road to the Oscars. Anyway, show ends. All of a sudden, all this Shredder stuff starts coming, like all of a sudden, like these things and like all these things, and it kind of comes in waves. And all of a sudden,
like people asking you about it, or what do you mean?
Yeah, just little in events. A lot of things started happening where, I stepped back into the Shredder thing, and I got to say, I'm thankful every day. I'm so glad and so thankful I got invited into this family. I have this maybe, this is going to be a stitch. But anyway, all of a sudden, seriously, within like a few months of this show ending, like all of a sudden, Shredder again. I'm thinking, okay, well, that's cool. But I'm thinking it almost felt like, Shredder saying, oh, not so fast, young man. You're coming. You had your fun. You had your fun. Now you're coming back. You're coming back and do my bidding. And so yeah, it's kind of fell back into that, and it's nice because I'm sort of doing a deep dive, and I'm so glad to be talking with you guys now because I'm starting to get back doing this deep dive into this. I've been kind of. And I realized, that's another thing. I kind of feel like I've been, one of those weirds I'm fated to do is I'm supposed to just work on this role for the rest of my life, whether I ever play it again, because I now have to revisit it. And I started thinking I'm going to start working on, because I've been really getting into 2003. The animated series, when they had,
oh yeah, that was a good series.
Yeah, right. And it was, if you want to get a little view into Shredder, and I can't believe I didn't spend more time with this series when I was actually doing the movie. But it's great, and I'm just going down that road, and it's so weird trying to follow all these things. I mean, Ninja Turtles, that's the nature of it. It's confusing.
And everybody's telling is a little bit differently, especially that one with the Shredder. That gave a portrayal of Shredder / Krang you don't see anywhere else. It was incredible. It was awesome.
Now, I had a question, this is great. This is one thing I think I want to get on with you guys, because I'm doing this whole deep dive. Because at the end of the day, I'm trying to create my own origin story. I mean, whether I ever do it again, but who knows? I might, it's going to give story ideas or whatever. But I realized, why not? This is obviously, these are one of those roles that I knew it at the time. I mean, it doesn't. I mean, you had to say this isn't a random role.
No.
It's not like. Oh, I remember when I played, Darth Dr. Yoshida on on that Law and Order, back into it's not like that, that was a great, no, it's not. And I realized, okay, it's a life thing. And sure enough, I am now permanently in this great family, which I love. And that's why I'm saying I love being pulled back in, because I realized, man, you fans are there, and you guys, all that sort of stuff. No one people talk to me about this stuff, but one thing I did want to get into, because I'm trying to work out this whole thing. Now, in that series, there was Krang and Sherelle. Now, Sherelle, I'm trying to make that distinction. Now, they are not the same people, correct? Krang, Sherelle, I've read somewhere that Sherelle was sort of Krang's warrior, so maybe Krang's more the elder. I don't know. What's your guys' take on that?
I don't recall. You're talking another Utom or whatever, like another.
Utrom. Yeah. And I've always thought, the Sherelle versus. I mean, I don't know which one it was. I can't remember for 2003, but that's one thing I'm also sort of thinking, and as in my mind, I sort of really zero in on to me what I believe at least is my Shredder origin story, and so that was an interesting thing. But I just thought about the Utrom, but I've been kind of exploring all that sort of stuff. But that's a great and crazy series.
Yes. Oh my God. What was it, like season 1 or 2? I think there was like the whole City at War arc where they were like, that's it. We got to take down Shredder. And the best plan they have is like, we're going in the front door and we're fighting our way at floor by floor to the top to take him down. And it was awesome. Every bit of it was awesome. And then at the end, you see Leo and Shredder facing off. They jump, swipe their swords. They both land opposite each other, and you see Shredder's head fall off. And I thought, damn, this is on Fox Kids?
Right.
This is on Fox Kids? But then, after the end credits, you see the body get up, pick his head up, and walk away. And I'm like, oh, shit.
That's right, Utrom. Duh.
Yeah. But, up until that point, you'd never seen that before. That was just like, what's going on? I would have never expected that they melted Krang and Shredder together,
Yeah. So, and it's interesting. I've always thought it was interesting that in that version, that Shredder, at least, I mean, I know they go a little back into the original or Saki line of it, but sort of the Shredder actually wasn't Shredder. It was like some guy who made embodied Shredder. It's kind of weird. It's interesting. So I've been kind of trying to resolve that in my mind, and really think what is my version of the origin story of how those first few comics, right? The whole thing of like Tang Shen and all that sort of stuff, and that those first 6, right? And then how does this actual person, and there are versions where they're going back to feudal Japan, all that sort of stuff, but Utrom and all that sort of stuff. I don't know. It's interesting, but trying to sort through that.
I see what you're saying though, because in previous tellings, there's that backed history with Oroku Saki and Hamato Yoshi. And in the 2014 film, like, unless I'm wrong, that history wasn't there. Like Shredder was just kind of learning about these turtles and these rats in this rat. And I remember the one line where he hears Splinter say, "Run, my sons." And did you do the voice on when he was in costume too?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought that line that you drop where you look at him, you're like, "Sons, you think you're their father?" And then like splay your knives. Oh.
And that's classic, right? Yeah.
That was classic. I never forget that. And another thing, you told us about the Shredder the last time we talked to you was about, you getting the job, going in for your first day of shooting, sitting down in the makeup chair. That's when you realized you were playing Shredder. You had no idea up until the day you were there to get ready to shoot that you were actually portraying the Shredder.
Well, I think many things told me that, but no one wanted to say, "Oh, this what's," because they were. I guess it makes sense. They don't know me personally, and they're saying, I guess I was kind of on a need to know basis, and because they're trying to, because that was a very critical time, if you recall, and they don't want anything getting out about what they're trying, and they don't know if it's going to work. I might go in there and suck, right?
Sure.
They're saying, okay, we got it. That didn't work. He might say, nah, it was worth a shot. let's stick with plan A and take our take our lumps from the fans. You know what I mean? So you don't know, and so they're thinking and all that sort of stuff. So and plus, I'm sure they didn't want it. Got them around a lot in negotiating with the agent. You know what I mean?
Really?
By leaving it vague and saying, all right, we'll give you a job. We'll give you a job. You want it? It's on this movie. That's all I got. You know, blah, blah. Anyway, but it was, you know, and as I was saying, the folks from Walking Dead, they were doing all that crazy scarring makeup, right? And that was hours, right? And that was the first time, and I said to him, and I realized at that point, man, I'm going to stop asking because I'm putting people in an awkward situation because they don't know what they're supposed to tell me, right? Like I don't, you know, I'll figure it out, but I'm guessing it's probably what it is. But I'll go with whatever. That's what I always joke with people as an actor and maybe as a person. If nothing else, I go with the flow, and I kind of like that. It's like, you know what? I want that. Wouldn't that be cool Wouldn't that be cool if I was playing Shredder? Huh, wow.
What a launch that would be.
Exactly. So I went and finally is all the make and is so cool and is to the point that, you know, you're in broad daylight and it doesn't look like makeup. I had hair under that. I don't know if you knew that. That's not.
No, I thought you shaved your head.
I thought so too.
Said, and it was almost like I maybe insulted him because no, don't worry about it.
Wow.
It's like we'll deal with it. Yeah, it was amazing and it was kind of cool too because I had a little bit of hair, but it made my head a little bigger, so I looked a little more smarter and evil. You know what I mean? You know, Dr. Evil, kind of like in that sort of vibe. But I and then at the end of it, I looked and it was amazing. I mean, I was Rakusaki or Shredder. I was there. I mean, it was like in broad daylight. It wasn't like, oh, well, wait till we do the effects. You know, wait till we, you know, do a little Photoshop on you or whatever, or just like, no. That's who I was sitting in the chair. I'm like, holy crap. And then the first thing I said to the guy was, and I was even talking to him, and I said to him, so I take it I'm playing a bad guy? he goes, oh yeah, I think you might be the boss man. But you know, even then I'm sort of thinking, all right, well, who is the boss? I don't know the story. They haven't even told me the script yet. Right. So anyway. But
it was again. They had the whole Eric Sachs character in there, and then there was that whole rumor that he was going to be the Shredder, and I remember people being like, "No, right. That can't be. He can't be the Shredder. You know, it has to be a Rokusaki."
We were mad when we read that.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, and that could have been a response. You know, and I'm one of these people, man. Maybe it's an actor thing. I'm just thankfully working, and part of it doesn't matter. You know, like who cares? And really. Who cares? And I just don't think you want to go. And, you know, it's interesting because, you know, huge Bill Fichtner fan from like, you know, Black Hawk Down. I mean, I think, wow, this is one of the actors I look up and he's sitting there and I'm thinking, man, am I taking this guy's job? I'm like the backup they brought, you know, the backup quarterback they got in, you know, the drafted to like take his job. But he was cool. And I'm thinking, you know what? I don't know what's going on, but I know what my job is today. And let's knock it out. And he was amazing. And yeah, I remember after the premiere too, and they did an amazing job. And
yeah,
you know, as much as I'm proud of that role, I mean, it was a team, man. I mean, you know, and what they did to make that work, and under a lot of pressure. You know, I remember Deborah Zane, the casting person, she goes, you know, they made 2 movies. You know that, right? And I goes, I didn't know that. I said, well, that's what you can do with Michael Bay money. He says, you know what? This isn't working. Let's start over and let's shoot another movie, you know? So it's sort of like, it's amazing. It was so good. I mean, I thought, wow, this all makes sense. And it was kind of insane, which apparently, you know, that's what Deborah Zane was saying. Well, you got a real good insight into big time filmmaking because, you know, Inception obviously was a big movie, but I was right in the middle of the middle of it. So I got the total insider's view of what was happening. And so it was brilliant. So anyway, but I saw him at the premiere, and I remember leaving, and I remember he texted me right after, you know, and he said, "You killed it, dude," you know. And I remember I freaking lost that phone. Like it had the text on there, right?
Don't tell me you lost that at an airport to a pissed off TSA agent.
TSA guy. No, I got my phone. Can you see the text? No, it's gone. we're erasing your phone, whatever. But anyway, but that being said, he was amazing. And so I don't know the story for a fact. And I don't care how I got the job. And it's interesting because after all these years, I mean, I maybe kind of knew it, but and it's a great. It's not just, at the end of the day, I sort of joke, whatever, about, hey, I'm on the road to the, and you know what? I still might pull it off. I don't know, man. I'm holding out for the Oscar.
I think you're on the road to the Oscar. I mean, we've been watching you since 2016 on our Instagram, and just, you're climbing, man. It may not be at the pace you want. COVID set everybody and everything back, but I mean, not kissing ass. I truly believe that's where you're on your way to.
Yeah, I mean, my father, he was a very determined scientist, and his whole thing is he wanted to win the Nobel Prize, right? And he was close. He was nominated many times, and his best friend wanted 2. Can you imagine that?
Wow.
Yeah, I saw him today. I saw him the other day. I'm thinking, I don't even know how to. Do you say congratulations and
Does
whatever?
He just wear them all the time, like always around his neck?
Well, my joke is my goal is I want to win this thing, and I want to get a picture where he's holding my Oscar and I'm wearing his 2 Nobel Prizes. So that's going to be this selfie of all selfies.
He's got to be holding your Oscar and Emmy.
Yeah,
and Emmy, 2. Yeah, exactly. And so anyway. But there's a point, and rest in peace. And it's been a while. So he but he was a great dad. But definitely that was his whole thing, and he's after that. And I knew that was important to him. All that sort of stuff, right?
Right.
And to be at the height of your career, whatever that height is, hit the very top. That's his whole thing. And he didn't get there, and I hope he was okay with that. He got pretty damn close, but whatever. But I remember it was one of those things where. His deathbed. And it's one of those things where, he had sort of this stroke, but long story short, but he kind of went brain dead, and he had a living will saying, if I go brain dead, just pull the plug. Like, don't even hesitate. And I get that. Yeah. For him, he said, like, don't keep me alive. Don't even think of it, And he's very practical, saying, you're not going to pay for, this shit, when I'm just sitting here lying,
right.
And so we did that, but we kind of kept it going about a week, after that happened. And my sister, you got to get in the plane, it's whatever. It was great because the whole family got to come in, like all from Japan or whatever. And we all got to spend, whatever. It was, we got to say goodbye properly. He was, whatever, but he was still alive. And toward, when we said, we're going to do this whenever, and it was up to us when to pull the plug, it's weird. It was a weird thing, but kind of beautiful. It's a beautiful morning out at the Newton Wellesley Hospital. And I don't know why it's so quiet. No one was there. And it's a beautiful morning and, whatever. And so we said, well, if you want to spend however long, you can just go in and say your goodbye. And I remember going in, and so, by yourself, right? One at a time. Take as long as you want. I'm sitting there, and obviously I'm totally emotional. And I don't know if I actually said the word Oscar, but I know what he meant. That's what he's saying. I'm going to take this all away. That's what I said. Dad, I'm going to take this all away. Okay. And then every so often I think about that, and I think, man, why did I say that? It's like on his deathbed. I told him on his deathbed. Like I'm going, man, I'm so tired. I just want to go and. Hang out and, but every so often I started thinking, man, why did I say that? What was I thinking? What did I say? I'll do my best. When did you say that?
I mean, I don't think in those moments, any of us truly find the perfect words we want. You know what I mean? Those moments, life throws into our lap unexpectedly sometimes. Yeah. And, there may have been a time where you were maybe, like you said earlier, if you're going to do something, take it all the way. That was his mentality. That's his mentality. Yeah. I don't think it was silly to say at all, but I mean, it's not my father. They weren't my words. They're yours, so.
Well, I said joke just because it's like, I could have let myself off the hook. I could be like, I could be enjoying life right now. I could be just sitting there on the beach right now. But anyway, that's good. And I'm not dissimilar from, I'm very different, but I'm not dissimilar in the sense that I get it, and that's a, whatever, the impossible dream, or just go after it. And maybe that's not a bad way to live, and to wake up saying, you know what, maybe this is the week. I think it's kind of funny that I'm a grown man saying, but hey, maybe this is the week. I'm still doing that after all these years, but it keeps them going.
But that's awesome. So many people fall into routine and ruts, and they just wake up and they're like, oh God, another week of this.
Yep.
There's so many people that wish that I wish I could be like, damn, I hope this is the week, kind of a thing. If that makes sense.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm starting to appreciate, that.
Yeah.
That's a real gift, that, and maybe maybe there's a response saying it's, slow but steady, but maybe it's good. I've talked to people that even later in life, they hit it, and,
right.
And they would say, you know what, getting there is the fun part. And I'm thinking, yeah, I'm still got a ways to go. I see that peak, when you hit you get, I don't know, if you're going some crazy hike, or, that's going to a top of a mountain or something like that, right? One of these, 10,000 foot elevation, kind of things, right? You're going and you're just dying. You've been on, walking for like 3 hours or whatever, and you're finally almost there. And then you finally see the peak, and how it goes up. A lot of mountains go up at the end.
Yeah.
Oh, that's where I'm trying to get to. And,
I didn't think about this.
yeah. And so like, oh yeah, that last little bit is not little, So anyway, but yeah, so it's good. It's a good thing. So, yeah, but yeah, so it's good, and kind of keeps it going, and yeah, it's nice though, and I think it's interesting that, as I was saying, with all that despite where I'm going, it's nice to have. I almost feel like it's almost like that whole Ninja Turtles thing. It's really starting to feel like family now. It's weird, and I almost feel like it's kind of doing this convention. I just start hitting the road and start doing this kind of stuff, which I love, because I realized, wow, it's nice to meet fans and just seeing face to face. And I've never met one that I thought, okay, they're my fan and blah blah. And I was like, man, it's like a new cool, and we have so much in common. Does that make sense? Like we actually, we know. I mean, I start realizing, oh wow, we're all on the same wavelength. We get each other in ways that, I mean, you can't bring this up at a random dinner party, right? Yeah, what about 2003? Yeah, oh, that was amazing. No, I had a question about Krang and Shrill. I mean, I can't.
Yeah. Hey, invite us to your next dinner party, man. I want to be there. This is gonna be fun.
Yeah, exactly. And so, and I was joking with one fan, because and I remember it was funny, because I was something, and I just love meeting all these folks. And I remember once I said some con, and the money guy next to me, that just collects, and blah, blah, blah. And I kind of get into this one kid, really cool kid, and he just got his degree in visual animation, basically stuff, and he's trying to break into that. And I'm just talking to him, but even mentality, I don't know much about breaking into the animation world, that end of it. And but I'm just saying, this is what you need, is if you're going in that uncharted territory,
right.
Where there's not, like all of us, right? This crazy thing that we have going, and all that. And it was really cool. And I felt like, okay, this is good. And I think this is nice. And it's nice to be in a position where I could, maybe help him to the extent I can. And I swear I feel him keep kicking me under the table. Like, dude, you've been talking to him for like 30 minutes.
Oh.
And I'm going, oh, okay, and so there's all that, but I joke sometimes. I sort of think, I was saying to someone, I said, I think at this point, man, I don't even feel like it's about me anymore. I just almost feel like I'm that, I was invited into a family. I'm sure that, that weird uncle that, everybody's heard about, but I show up for Thanksgiving dinner like once every few years, and and that's and it's nice, and I get to meet family, and we all have a good time, and whatever, and I disappear again and whatever, and so, but it's a cool world. I got to say, I don't know what the Marvel worlds are, what these other ones are like, but if there's a comic book franchise, I can't think of a better one. I mean, I don't know. I don't need to sell this to you guys, but you know what I'm talking about, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And it's funny you say that. Have you heard of, was it Granite Con in New Hampshire?
Never have. Never have.
Okay, it's coming up in September 21st and 22nd. So, if you are interested, you might inquire about getting yourself a booth there. But
Yeah, let
it's
me just write that down. What's it called again?
Granite Con. It's in Manchester, New Hampshire.
As
September.
as in the rock.
What's that?
Granite as in the rock or the.
That's the way it's spelled. Granite Con, all one word. But
Cool.
Judith Hogue is going to be there. I know that you said that you had done something with her in the past, either an acting class or a role. Yeah,
my first.
What's his name? I can never remember. James Saito, the original Shredder.
Yeah, he did the 1990 Shredder, yeah.
And I know Robbie Rist, Ernie Reyes, and some of the guys who wore the turtle suits are going to be there. Kevin Eastman's going to be there. Ben Bishop, Tom Waltz, Jim Lawson. Like, it's a turtle orgy, man. Like,
okay, I got a new person, so I'll make sure I mention that.
Yeah.
And that sounds like a blast,
And I need to get your autograph. I have to comment on your autograph. I've seen other people's autograph before, and I think of Kenny James, Jack. I remember when he was on, I said, "Oh, your autograph looks cool because you put little horns on, the end of your name, like Bowser has." Yeah. Dude, your signature is incredible. And I've seen a couple examples, and for the people viewing this, I'll put a picture on the screen, but you do this sketch of the Shredder that almost looks like artwork from like old Japanese tapestry kind of stuff. And the one I saw you had tonight, I dine on turtle soup is what you had written, but then you also do the Japanese translation, sign your name, and then I believe is what your name in Japanese going underneath. It is so awesome. I must acquire this.
Well, absolutely. Absolutely. My pleasure. And a lot of times to me, I don't know, I always got in trouble for doodling. I mean, I just draw my books when I was growing up. And I don't think I never had the discipline to really become an artist, but I was actually put on, but that was my thing. I just love doodling. I realized I don't even want to be like this painter or artist. I just love doodling, and I still do. And I always got into trouble, so I kind of feel it's funny now that when I look at me now.
Look at what it got me. And they don't even look like doodles, though. They look like you're trained in a specific kind of
drawing maybe. I mean, but it's fun. It's funny because we'll sit down and I'll be sitting there and I'll kind of work. And I said, "Oh, what colors?" And we kind of work this out. And I remember at the end, it's almost like we'll both look at it. Goes, "That's good. That's good." Like it's a cool. Like, and I realized, frustrated artist clearly. It's like I don't think I can make it as an artist, so I'm just going to go and play the supervillain, and maybe they'll let me draw on things, and all that. And so yes, but it's so I actually think that's part of it too. And I'm starting to think that, this whole thing's cool because I love that signing. I love that that's sort of me as I was saying, I love drawing. And once the pen starts to get going, it does some crazy things on me. Yeah. So I think there's,
well, it looks like the Shredder signed it too. It doesn't look just like Toro quick, scribbled a name where you can only make out the first letter. You can see your name, and then it looks like the Shredder wrote some shit on there too. It looks incredible.
Well, I told you my theory is because, and I believe this is still true. No two people have ever played Shredder twice in a row. It's never. I don't like both. I didn't get Brian, who did a fantastic job, and then there was Francois and James did the 1990, and then. You're probably more savvy on the animation ones, but I don't think everybody reprised that role of Shredder.
No, I know James Avery obviously did the original. I don't know who did the 2003.
He didn't do it the whole time, though. He changed. It was changed. They're like originally,
13,
wasn't it?
They're 13, 14. There are only a handful of live action ones, but there's and then I've seen comments where they're saying, "Man, it's like why do they have so many? Because do they keep losing their numbers?" But I have my theory is, and I've really felt this when I was doing this role. Because at the end of the day, I'm you just have to, and I believe about this with acting too, is that you don't really create a character. It's almost like a weird reincarnation, or you just you allow it. It's really weird, and I know that sounds very cheesy, but
no,
but It's you just kind of let it pass through you, and there's a point where uh, whatever's going on, and a lot of times if you're freaking out because of this or that, I remember it was so insane when we were doing that speech, right? And it was like last minute change. It was just insane. I'm thinking, wow, I finally get to do a speech on a major feature film. Like, who gets that with a IMAX camera punched into my face?
Yeah.
What actor ever gets to do that in their lifetime, right?
Not many.
This is it, and it's going to go globally. People are going to watch this. It's Michael Bay. People are going to watch this. And I'm thinking, and everything was changing, so I didn't feel the least bit prepared. Like not because I didn't prepare. I said I need 20 minutes. I'm getting handed a new script. Like everything was insane. And even my translator, was saying, she was getting mad because he can't do this. And I'm saying, no, don't worry, Papa. And she was just impressed at how calm I was, or whatever. I said, no, this is like a gift. Because if you look at the scene, right? I mean, what just happened? Like the turtles just took over. He's ripping the place up because he's so freaking mad that nothing's going right.
Yeah.
This is how not to, and it's this whole thing. That's where this whole speech came from. I'm going, this is like a gift. I don't need to do any acting. I just need to say these words, and it's all going to come out. And sure enough, like it's like any sort of, I don't know. I mean, words are funny, right? If you say them and you say the right things, it brings things out. Like it opens things up in your mind and your body. And, it's weird. I'm sure there's some form of therapy where you just, or chants are like that, right? Too, when you chant, where you say them, but just something about it opens up. And sure enough, that's what it was. So there was no, I mean, my life was kind of crazy then. And it was sort of like, I was kind of mad, a little mad that I was not, here's my chance. And, I'm not given a chance. So I was thinking, great, I don't even have to act. I was handed these words. I just have to say them. And it's kind of what I'm feeling right now.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so he said, yeah, but we're going to rule at the end, all this sort of stuff. So I'm big on, I kind of have that whole acting style, right? I believe that's great. Whatever you want to say about my talent, it's really what I can allow in because, whatever it's, the less it feels like me acting, the better it will be. I guarantee you. And anyway, so I'm kind of going, so I had this theory that, everybody's different each time, is that I think Shredder is somewhere and just picks out these actors one at a time, says, all right, you're going to play me this time.
I like that.
And he's kind of doing his bidding. And he said, oh, yeah, oh, look at this guy standing in the corner. Why don't you come over here? And he said, and I kind of feel like there's that sort of that theory that it's that it's not me doing any of this, so that's why you're saying this, the signing. I'm thinking maybe a bit of that's going on, because even that's how I draw, is I just kind of start going, and I'm a little stressed out because they're bringing, some, Funko Pop that was really rare or something crazy, like, that's been in collection forever.
I never thought about that, but yeah, like worrying about messing it up or something.
And they came all the way from whatever and paid whatever to get in, and they're paying me on top of that. And I've got these great markers that are oil-based paint, those oil-based paint ones, because those are so much better and they last, and you can write on anything. And so mistakes, like it's sort of like I wouldn't say there's very little room for error, but it could not be good, and that would suck for everybody, but it's sort of this whole thing, it somehow always works out, but it is fun, it is fun that way. But I think that's that whole thing that I sort of feel, they're sort of allowing it to happen. Yeah, maybe, geez, I don't know. I don't know. I don't feel like I'm in charge at this point. I don't think any of us are.
He wrote cheddar on my pop.
He's sitting right now going,
cheddar.
Okay. All right. You guys keep talking. Good. That's okay. I don't mind that. All right. Just keep talking. I like what you're doing.
It makes sense, though, because there's been times I've seen other people signing autographs and you're chatting to them and stuff. And when it comes time to put that pen to the product, to the picture, to the pop, whatever it might be, they shut up. They go cold because they're focusing. Yeah. Just like you said, they don't want to mess it up. And that's an aspect I never thought about, really. But it's the truth.
Yeah, and I remember I had to sign a guitar once. Man, that was stressful.
I saw that. The black electric guitar?
I'm going, wow. I mean, I don't know how much that thing costs, but it's like, sorry, dude.
Well, with the guitar, you might be able to like get something to get it off and start.
Yeah.
But,
You could do it. It's not that, but it's sort of like, yeah. And as I was saying, yeah, you could definitely get it off. So I'm not saying the stakes are that high, but it's like,
I like what you're saying though.
But it's good because pressure. A little in the if you're in the right place, a little pressure is just what you need to make something cool and all that. So. So it's fun. It's a fun thing. So.
And you've been talking about, you were talking like suddenly, like when you send that message, you're like, all of a sudden there's more requests to do Shredder stuff. All of a sudden the Shredder thing's starting to kind of come back around. And, you're not the first person that we've had on the show to say that. We've had a few different people in similar situations being like, I made this so many years ago. I got some recognition, but not big. But it wasn't till 10, 15 years later that people are starting to really come out of the ether and want to talk about it, have my signature and stuff. And like these people are doing really well at cons. It's an incredible thing how nostalgia works. You know what I mean? We're living the age of nostalgia, and I love it.
Yeah, and it is good, and I get it. I feel it's 10-year anniversary.
Yeah, that's incredible. Congrats, man.
Incredible. Oh, thanks, and it's good. It's and now I'm starting to realize, as I was saying, I mean, not that I didn't know before. This isn't just another role, and there's something bigger going on, and I don't even know what that is, but I do know I'm been sort of connected to a community now, and. Even one by one, I'm just sort of thinking, how I was thinking about that today. It's like, man, how cool is it? I get to like hop on this thing with you guys again, right? I mean, that's it's I don't know what the hell we're all going through, but we're all going through it together, right? So
and it's an awesome journey. It's an awesome journey. Yeah. I talk to Jack about that all the time. Like every once in a while we'll be sitting there doing something, or like something like this will just end and we'll just be like, isn't this incredible? Yeah. Like even still, all these years later, look at what we're doing. Look at who we get to talk to and hang out with and stuff. Like it's incredible. And it never stops being incredible.
Yeah, absolutely.
It comes with hard work, but as you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's nothing nothing comes to you, but I think probably deep down we all kind of I think at the end of the day it's better to be working hard, no one wants to be bored or whatever or stagnant. That's actually the worst fate. And one thing I noticed is that, man, you keep working at it, every so often something cool happens, like that you just never in a million years would have expected. That it's a weird thing. I don't know, like. And I like that part, and to me, I know that there are a bunch of cool surprises ahead. If I keep on it, and as long as I love sitting on my ass as much as the next guy, especially during playoff time. But I don't mind, putting a hard day's work every day, and see that somehow, I don't know, and I don't know where it's going to come back, but it's always fun, right? It's always fun. It's always fun whenever that news comes in or whatever that thing is that you just didn't expect. And I guess it is. It's interesting. I was kind of getting into this that guy that two-time Nobel Prize winner. He recommended this book. So it's not just me. I'm a two-time Nobel Prize winner. So pass it on. He was reading it, but this thing called Out of Control. It's a factual book, and it's written by the guy he used to, what is it? This is great. We don't actually have to remember anything anymore.
I know. It's great and damning at the same time.
It's both.
Because nobody has to retain anything now, at the same time.
Right. It is, shoot. I'll remember. It's this guy he used to be the editor of Wired, and this was back in the 90s. I'm thinking
the tech magazine.
Yeah, okay. And it was sort of this thing on it was like it's hitting it straight to my Kindle book, and I just want to but it doesn't necessarily see who wrote it. But anyway, Out of Control by Kevin Kelly. Kevin Kelly.
I'm gonna look it up right now.
And it's all about. It's interesting. He talks about, it's AI based. It's all about computation and blah blah blah. And kind of, this, and it's interesting. It's back in the '90s. You just keep forgetting that. Oh wow, this guy was way ahead of his time. And
yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, but he's talking about stuff you forget. Oh, because there's one point we were saying, and the challenges of getting a robot to walk or something. And I'm thinking like that was '98 or something. That Osimo, you remember that Sony robot that could dance?
Yes,
remember that? It was not a very good dance, but just that whole thing. Remember that?
I do.
Good run, just crazy. And bipedal motion was always for the longest time the hugest challenge. I mean, it's amazing that we do that. I think. I mean, as human beings, I mean, the number of computations we're making every nanosecond is mind-boggling, and so we do it somehow. And anyway, so there are all these things that he talks about, and he talks about bee swarms and how they behave, and he's talking about this is how natural systems actually behave, as opposed to the sort of A plus B equals C kind of thing. And It's a great book. There's a lot of cool things that I mean, I could talk for hours on this thing, but there's one point where he's talking about, he was saying, and he's saying out of control is a good thing. That's what creates life. And he always talked about an always falling existence, and that's what creates life. And there's one guy back whenever the Mars, whatever, Voyager, motion, whatever, they were going to go and check out Mars and Venus and see if there's any life there. This is way back in the day.
Right. And
this British scientist, and he goes, well, you can go check it out, but I can tell you right now, there's no life there. And she was saying, okay. He goes, yeah, but go spend your billions. You do what you need to do. And his theory was that because he studied the atmospheres there, right? And he found that all those atmospheres are very stable. And it was all this high school chemistry. It was like products in, reactants in, products out, heat in, heat out, energy in. It was like something, high school student level computation of what's going on, complete equilibrium, blah, blah. And he was saying, so the Earth, on the other hand, has so many crazy things going on. Like they actually, someone, I don't know who thought it would be a good idea to have like, methane and oxygen in the air, the share the same atmosphere, like who, really, is that a good idea? And all this sort of stuff. And it's amazing that we're, this whole thing's ready to blow up at any moment, but it hasn't for however long. I don't even remember how old the Earth is, but anyway, but it's just hanging in there, but because it's almost falling, it's almost about to like blow up at any second, that out of that's how life gets created. Does that make sense? Like that chaos creates all these weird things that creates actual life, because that's where it comes from. So anyway,
everything in flux with one another to create the miracle that is life.
Yeah, that unexpected thing, that comes out of nowhere. And I kind of feel like maybe what we do or the lives we've chosen, I think that chaos or being almost out of control is a good thing. And there's one thing I always loved, he said, and I guess it's that whole butterfly
effect.
And he always says that, and I just love this. They all say, small, oh, damn it. I probably should have, I have it on my desktop. So I don't want to misword this.
You're fine, man. Take your time.
Here, let me search this. All right, there you go. Okay, let me find this thing.
I'm excited to check this out. I just saved it on my phone here.
I'll find it. It's a good one. Just when we think we've really made bad choices in life. Kevin Kelly to the rescue. In computation, or at least our old models of computation, this is what I love. An arbitrarily small event can, and often does, cause an arbitrarily large effect. He used the example that a tiny program can clear out memory, so that's probably not Not a good example, but I like to say, it's more like a tiny program can make a big movie role fall out of nowhere, but
Right.
like it did with Shredder, so that I kind of like that. Then that's why you put in the time every day, because you don't know some stupid thing we're doing. This conversation we're having right now, you don't know what will happen. I mean, it could clear our memories. Wake up day and our neither of us
some tiny program.
Some tiny podcast. Is that podcast? Damn it. But anyway, so I don't know where we got what got on that, but I think that's a hard thing about. It's worth just keeping at it, because you never know what's going to happen, right?
Yeah, really and this far in, man, you just keeping at it, working toward that Oscar, but you've already won so much. I mean, aside from like the actual awards, but I mean, I think your fandom that comes, the people who are fans of you because of the Shredder, it's such a unique thing to be in on. Like you were saying earlier, a very unique family, and that's a very, very generous fan base, man.
Well, and it's cool because sometimes I sort of think, I don't know. It's so funny. You become an actor, a young man becoming an actor. You're thinking you'll be like mobbed by these beautiful women for the rest of the all this stuff. I'm thinking, all right, here are my Ninja Turtle fans, and but then I hang out and it's always great. And I keep thinking, I see myself, you know what I mean? I think that's me, you know what I mean? Like I see that. And then that's why I'm thinking, that's the cool part. And I think maybe that's the way life works, is you kind of find your people and so it is good. And you're right. Maybe that's a good way of putting it. Generous. I mean, I don't know. I mean, obviously we can be pretty, obnoxious as the next comic book guy. I mean, right? We have those moments for sure. In fact, maybe when I get off the podcast, I thought that, and that 2000. Oh man, that was so.
I hope that happens. Yeah, I want to.
And I can't. Yeah, but yeah. So, but I think you're right. At the end of the day, yeah, it's always been a good experience. So it is. Yeah. It's a good thing to be part of for sure, and so to this day, so yeah, I'm all good, I'm good with, and it's cool that I started realizing that, and that's what I was saying. I'm just going to keep, working on this origin story, because I don't plan on playing it again. I don't anticipate that, but I'm thinking, if I really come up with the good, you don't know what I mean. That's pretty good. I mean, if I had, also that's actually valuable. If I have a whole, also, oh, okay, I know people, and I know. Thinking maybe I can do something with this.
I would love to read that, man. I would love to know what that origin story is.
Yeah. I'm working it out. It's
you started it, like, or are you just thinking of it still, or have you like started putting it together?
On it, and I'm just kind of doing it for myself right now. And I do. These came out of conversation. I'd have a lot of friends who were like big EPs, executive producers and stuff like that. So we writers and blah blah. And they said, yeah, just keep writing, dude, and you don't know, just see where it goes. And so I have, and I'm thinking it's good for me because, I like doing things like, and I sing, I like having intelligent conversations with fans and podcasts. I mean, it's interesting, right? And then, so yeah, no, it's, if something happens with it, I'll definitely let you guys know.
Please
for sure.
Do. Because I mean, just thinking about that could like evolve. I'm thinking about the potential of a Shredder origin movie or like a series. Like, what if it evolved into something like that? That's something we've never.
Seth Rogen gets a hold of it, and then there you go.
Yeah,
I mean that would be tight.
Hey,
he did good on the last movie, so
no, he was great. He's great. I love that movie. Probably mine so far, anyways. It's certainly much darker and but it's cool. I'm playing around. I'm playing around with shit, man. I mean, because it's weird. You can't just. It's not just normal. I mean, there's a lot of weird. I mean, right? It goes on so many things, and I was thinking of like since I had the Inception thing, I'm trying to bring it all together. It's like I think somehow the dream world. I had the whole mystics, right? You had the whole mystics thing, and there's just all the bizarre, and then of course those those frickin' Dimension X. I mean, it gets crazy, right? The dimension, I mean,
the Triceratons.
That's where I was going to go next.
Yeah. And so, but I'm thinking, but I think I might I've read some cool things, in the IDW series that I kind of used, when I was working on it, but where he has these dreams. I'm thinking, that's a cool place to go, because, a lot of, that can be a pathway too. And, whatever, so I'm kind of playing around with a lot of stuff, work in progress. And so, and it may never turn anything, but, if it turns into something, I'll definitely keep you guys
Please
aware.
do, because that would be
Sweet.
awesome. But in the meantime, people can come check you out and get that awesome fucking autograph. First, the Showcase Comic-Con in what is that, Slidell, Louisiana?
Slidell, Louisiana, and
yes, June 14th and 15th.
Yeah, and I shot a Sci-Fi Channel movie there, like way back in the day. And
Did you?
Yeah, I think I don't know if they're even making those anymore, but I suggest that to any actor. You got to do at least one. Got to fight a few flying dinosaurs, and it was a blast.
That's advice for anybody. I wish I could do that.
Yeah, it was good. But I saw some friends there in New Orleans, and we're going to hang out afterwards. And I remember sort of thinking, my rep said, yeah, we got, this is a great thing. It's some, and sometimes going to those smaller markets are great because they're, just everybody shows up, and it's a, I did this one small heavy metal record store in near Phoenix on the out, and it's just great. Like, I love that kind of vibe sometimes where it's sort of like, anyway, so
they go hand in hand for some reason. The Turtles and heavy metal. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it totally wasn't. And the guy, the owner of the shop, took me to Rob Zombie concert afterwards. It was pretty awesome. So,
shit, that would be so fun.
It was pretty awesome. My first Rob Zombie concert, and man, I was so alive. Is Rob Zombie, Alice Cooper? And I'm thinking, oh, well, that would be, I should see Alice Cooper before he keels over. Never seen him, and so I went. But man, he's got a show, dude. It's
I saw him once years ago, but it was on a side stage in a parking lot, and he didn't have all his theatrics. He was like just in a t-shirt and jeans, so it was still cool. But I want to see the big screens and the costumes and stuff like that. But him, actually, the both of them, Alice Cooper and Rob Zombie, Jack, I think I told you, are going to be over by Cleveland here in the next few months. I think August.
I know. Yeah, I remember hearing Alice was going to be, because I thought the exact same thing. The Toro seeing him before he's not aaround anymore.
Yeah,
he was good though, man. He was rocking the house.
And I heard he sounds great still too. So
no. And there's a little point where he's, and I'm thinking, I'm listening. Yeah, this is really great. And he was just rocking out. He was great, and he had the whole show. At the end, I'm going, all right, well, that was great. And he's going, oh, thanks for coming out, man. I can't remember what it was, but I can't remember what the intro was. But I'm thinking, I don't know if there's going to be. He segued into sort of a. Like it sounded like the show was over. I was like, great fucking show, and he was almost segueing into something, and almost, I guess he leads to our encore, and then you see this little big alarm clock, because the whole Rob Zombie set, this whole big alarm, you hear this ring, like the whole school, this whole thing, and then, oh shit, and then it was amazing, all generations, like these kids, because it's great, because of the generations of kids, and these heavy metalers bringing their little long-haired heavy metal kids, and then the thing went off, and this was a huge it was more than I don't know, it wasn't stadium, but it was huge, and that thing went off, and he went into it, and it's the most amazing sort of final, I don't know if it'd been, it was almost stayed like it was an encore or something, and he did the whole schools out thing, so it was great, and then it came on. But anyway, so I love that kind of stuff. And then Slidell. So I'm sure this will be a blast. And I'm looking up, wow, what's there to do in Slidell? It's an hour from New Orleans, so I'm going to party in New Orleans after I'm done. So with my buddy,
that'll be fun as hell.
Yeah, with my buddy from that Sci-Fi Channel movie. So it's going to be good. And I look up Slidell. What's in Slidell? Look it up. The first thing comes up. Swamp tours. And I'm thinking, I started laughing, but then I started like, you know what? I'd probably see some gators and shit. I mean,
is that like the big fan boats and they go out, or how does that work?
I think it depends on what there are, but I thought, okay, this isn't. It sounds. There's gonna be some crazy shit going on in the waters there.
Oh,
so
you better believe it.
Definitely.
Right?
That would be sweet.
Yeah, so I might Might do myself a swamp tour in Slidell.
Put some pictures on Instagram if you do. I want to see that. I really do. You also have a stream. Is it Streamily?
Yeah, Streamily. Yeah, it's like an online thing. I've never done this before, so I'm gonna just give it a shot. And I'm doing it with Manai from Karai. He said, what's
for real?
Yeah, let's fucking do something together. And then she said, no, you know what? Let's try the Streamily thing. And so we're gonna give it a shot. It's like that's on. So I think Slidell is for all you Slidell locals or New Orleans locals, close enough to live in New Orleans, is June 14th, 15th, something like that.
Yes.
And then the following week, and I'm going to say the 21st at 3 p.m. I just did that on my post. 21st on 3 p.m. It's a signing. I've never done it before, so I have no idea what the hell I'm doing. We're going to, I guess, on Instagram Live. And I don't know. Are you guys going to post links or something like that? Can you?
Yeah, I'm going to put links. I don't know how to do a link to something like that that's happening live on Instagram, other than just tell them, be here at your handle.
There is a link.
And follow them.
I'll just send that to you.
Just send it along.
But anybody. I mean, I'm sure I'll keep you updated on Instagram. I mean, but there's a link that you click on. It's all new to me. So okay. We're going to do an Instagram Live. I think probably at the end of the day, how you get those little things, when someone's going live. I'm not even
like your profile circle is like pulsing almost or something.
Yeah.
And so if it's the right time, you click on it, I guess you're in there.
And if they're following you, a banner should drop when you go live, or if they get on Instagram after you're already live saying, yo, Tohoru Masamune is now live. You can just click there and it'll take you straight over.
Yeah. And I think if you go to the thing, I think you can pre-order if you go, I don't know. It's all new to me, man. But I think you can, I think you can go, hopefully you guys will be able to put up that link. It's just basically streamly.com/Tohoru Masamune. So it's pretty straightforward and takes you somewhere, at least explains what it is. And then worst case, just find me on Instagram and June 21st, 3 p.m. And, it's going to be a new adventure for me, and I'll be there with Manai. So that to me is sort of the coolest, really fun part about this thing. And by the way, Manai says hello to you guys and to everyone out there.
That is freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Tell her hello back. That is cool.
Absolutely.
I absolutely will. Yeah, she's a pretty amazing woman. I'm very honored to have worked with her and continue to work with her. So
I wonder if she would do Canned Air too. It'd be cool to get you both on here at the same time, wouldn't it?
There you go.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome of her. Thank her that. Though.
I will. Absolutely. Yeah, and I'm just like to, I mean, man, she was sort of the person when I remember walking on the set where I don't know what the hell's going on, but I'm just, and I'm not going to bust Bill Fichtner's chops on it. You know what I mean? I'm guessing, I said, where do you want me to stand, sir? And, whatever. And there's actually a very funny moment, where I'm giving him the speech.
Uh-huh.
And I'm thinking, I don't know, maybe he lost it. Just, I don't know. And he's like he's talking to me during it. And also he's looking kind of nervous. I'm thinking, oh shit. Cause I totally look up to this guy. Right. And I'm on these Apple boxes. I'm looking down and looking in his eyes and feeling bad because he's kind of sort of nervous. Like, wow. Okay. I don't want, no, he's just a great actor. Yeah, he's like, I'm thinking, oh man, it was very funny, but it was so stupid. It took me a while to figure out. Was it was so convincing that I thought he was actually. But anyway, but Manai was there. I started the lunch line, and she goes, "Oh, you must be the new Shredder." And goes, "Baba," and I kind of pulled it off to the side. I remember during lunch, and it was just talking to her, and I was full makeup, right, the whole thing, right,
yeah.
And, and I mean, everything told me, obviously, it's sort of like I'm on the call sheet as Shredder. I'm playing a high line, but I don't know at this point. I mean, it's been so weird. And I remember sitting there at lunch and I'm going, yeah, so I don't know, Manai, because I feel like I'm, I might be playing Shredder on this movie. And she looks at me and goes, she's just having her lunch. Yeah, it kind of looks like that to me.
So casually.
Yeah. I'm like still making up. Yeah, I'm thinking, I don't know. It's this weird feeling I have. I think I might be playing Shredder on this.
He's
I
wearing
don't
a
want to
helmet.
assume anything. But I have a feeling.
I don't know. I had this weird feeling. And we stayed in touch. She's amazing, and and we've stayed in touch. I stay in touch with Jeremy. Not so much the other guys, but Jeremy, the
Jeremy Howard.
Yeah, Donatello. But those two were big. Definitely, but definitely Mania became sort of my bud from the movie, and we're the Foot Clan for God's sakes,
Yeah,
right?
you're
Right.
father-daughter.
And Karai, man, still hanging out after all these years. So that's just that part.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Be a
I'm
blast.
excited to check in. I'm going to be there because I wasn't bullshitting earlier when I said I have to have that autograph. So I'm going to be there. I'll be there.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll work. And I'll just we'll figure it out, and I'll as I was saying, I'm what do they call those Rolls Royces? Bespoke. I've trying to figure out what the person wants on there, and I kind of make it and create something. So it's sort of like I if I have time or whatever, and certainly people that I know, I say, all right, what it is that they're looking for, and then we sort of create it together. So that if I have the time,
That's amazing.
The person next to me, the money guy next to me, kicks me under the table.
But that's
anyway.
awesome, though. That's awesome because it's rare you get that from anyone. Typically, they just grab it, slop their signature, pass it along. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It shows you like the fans.
I mean, maybe secretly, I wish I'm like so in demand that I just become that guy that anymore. It's like Jeremy, who it's like I mean, I hope one day, but I'm not seeing it. I was joke with someone, with something. Yeah, sadly, I think I have like one of the most embarrassingly manageable fan bases in town. Because because I think that's what happens. You get like a William Shatner. I mean, I get that, and he's older or whatever.
Right.
Like he's so overwhelmed, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
I mean, and maybe at some point, I'm sure he was very generous when he's young. I'm sure when Star Trek, all that sort of stuff. But at some point, decades and just where you just walk in and people are freaking out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I never, which I guess I should be embarrassed to admit, but people, I mean, I think they're happy and all this, but I never get that. Oh my God, like I never see it. If anything, I got more of that with Never Have I Ever, because I'm not the hot guy, but I was the hot guy's dad. So I actually got them. Plus, they're teenage girls and stuff, so they get a little
Right.
us Ninja Turtles people are a lot cooler than that. We don't.
We don't need that.
Yeah, we geek out quietly. Yeah, no, I'm like that too, though. It's like me with that guy, right? With that Yankee pitcher. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say that earlier. You're giving that moment to your fans now.
Yeah.
How it's kind of come full circle.
Yeah, I'll be saying, oh yeah, sure, yeah, I'll join you for cigars and brandy. Yeah, okay, all right. I'll see if I have a little time. End of the night, I'll see you there. Cool, man.
Yeah. The whole time you're inside, just like, yes.
Oh man! And could you sign this bloody sock while you're there? It's okay. It's I just it's
if you got
your
time. Yeah.
Is that your sock? Is that your blood? Yeah, but it's okay. I've had it's clean. But anyway, yeah, no, it'd be my pleasure. However, but yeah, I think it'll be a good time. I don't know. I'm very much like my whole life. I just put in the work and try and enjoy the ride. This has been a good part of it. For sure. I mean,
it shows, man. It shows on your Instagram. It shows every time we've talked to you. It shows you're having a great time. You're doing amazing things. You're living a life that I wish I was living. I'm sure Jack probably relates.
Oh yeah. Well, absolutely. I mean, you guys are doing it. I mean, it's like you're not just, you're just not slugging away. Yeah. Some people they don't follow their passions and.
Yeah, don't do anything. Just come home.
They don't do anything, and
TV.
Yeah, and that's fine, and I'm whatever. I'm not going to judge anybody's life, but I'm glad we all, make something of the day, right?
Yeah, have an outlet and a drive that makes us do it. But
Absolutely.
I'm excited to again be there at your Streamily. I will put those links on this post and on our social media and stuff to help drive people over there. But Tohoru, I want to thank you so much for being so generous with your time tonight. This has been incredible. It flew by. Like I'm looking at the clock and I'm seeing we're going close to 2 hours. And I thought, how in the hell did that happen?
Really? Wow. I didn't even realize it was that
That's
much.
so crazy. I just realized I was supposed to call someone at 5:30, but you know what?
Oh,
Whoops.
I'm sorry.
No, that's my fault. I also, nothing aside from doodling, I always got in trouble for talking all the time in school. So,
well, before I
Candair's making him late.
Right.
That?
Hey,
Look what we did.
yeah, that's right. But hey, I'm going to tell those teachers, look at me now. Let me just, sorry, that's so stupid. I'm actually texting. All right, I got to tell them. Oh no, sir, I'm running late.
Yeah, we'll cut you.
Anyway, sorry, I just because I feel bad that I did this.
No, go for it. You're fine.
And I'm gonna. But I was on a podcast discussing my iconic TV movie role.
Please type that exactly.
A very popular podcast.
That's right. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, he's like, oh, you're on Joe Rogan.
Yeah, right.
Well, you know what? I tell you what. I'll go get that Oscar if you guys do whatever you guys are trying to turn into. I mean, already I'm looking at this. This is. You guys are already doing pro shit. Look at this. I mean, I'm looking at this.
Well, thank you, man. And maybe we can get that picture back and forth where you're holding whatever it is we've won and we're holding your Oscar next to each other.
There you go.
I wanted to tell you before we hung up that when you are up there accepting your Oscar, please don't forget your guys over here at Candair. Don't forget us, man. All right.
I always say that I'm starting to realize that at the end of the day, shit, man, that's all we got. I mean, it's such a cliche, but the friends you make along the way.
Yeah.
As far as I can tell, talking to I mean, that's all you got at the end of the day. So I would say it's not like have no intention. I mean, it's like I was saying, the guy kicking me under the table. It's like, and sometimes I sort of feel like, as a kid that got in trouble for talking to him or whatever. Maybe that's what I kind of wanted all along. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, I get it.
And now we get to do it on a global level.
Winning, man. You are winning,
man.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, cool. Well, I guess we can follow up. I mean, I can let you know about I don't know. Yeah, I'm terrible at marketing, as you know. So I'll
me and you both. That's why when you asked me, I was like kind of shit my pants a little bit. I was like, oh crap, what do I do for marketing? Very little, but I told you.
Together we rule the world. So I will. I'll probably hit you up with an email or something saying this is what I have, but we'll go back and forth. And of course, that signing, the signature, we'll figure it all right. But
we'll be in touch, man. We'll be in touch.
We don't have to trouble the listeners. It's like, by the way, what do you have tonight for dinner? No, yeah. So but anyway, and my thanks to whomever was listening. Or whoever was
and watching and all that stuff. But I feel bad. I feel like we're stuck in a way where we can't say goodbye. It's a good problem to have, but I feel bad that we're keeping you from your friend.
Oh no, it's don't worry about it. It'll work out. Yeah,
all right,
we're all good. We're all good.
Well, with that, Jack, then why don't you tell the lovely listeners and viewers what we have on our website, sir?
If you go to candairpodcast.com, you can listen, follow, subscribe, become a patron, buy some merch, see some YouTube videos, and if you'd like to be a guest and promote your work, send us an email on our contacts page.
And don't forget to find us on Twitter at CandairPod, Instagram at Can_Air, and TikTok at Candair Podcast. And that website Jack was just talking about, CandairPodcast.com. A few different ways for you to support us on there. There's the merch tab, gets you shirts, hats, jackets, hoodies, stickers, all that kind of stuff with our logo on it. And AI work that Josh did for us that has our show logo. They're pretty cool things. You got to check them out. And our Patreon page, that's like a 4 or 5 year plus catalog that just keeps growing for $5 a month. 2 different ways for you guys to support us. Give us a little bit of your cash. and help out the show, get something in return. If you don't have money to support us, leave us a like, a review, subscribe, leave a comments below. Anything like that, it's free. It helps us a lot. It doesn't just stroke our egos. It helps us get seen more. Jack, what else I got, man? Or what else do you got?
Evergreen Podcast, the network that we are proud to be part of. We are forgetting words, but it's okay. And everybody, go to TohoruMasamune.com. I'll put that in the description as well. And your socials are your name too, right? There's no underscore.
Yeah, it's all as to my I'll send you all that stuff. But
okay.
But
I can look that up, but I just off the cuff I wasn't sure. But I didn't want to tell them the wrong thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, until next time, I think that's going to do it. I am Jeremy Colley.
I'm Jack Doherty.
And I'm Tohoru Masamune.
Thank you all so much for watching and listening. Be excellent to each other, everyone.